thing about speaking with you guys is corn is always going to put me last. It never, ever, ever ends. Sorry. It's okay. I really do enjoy going last, so this is all right. But my story today is directly inspired by the anonymous question, a time where I was unnoticed and then turned into something unstoppable. And I will open my story with an important piece of context. I am convinced to this very day that my 10th grade Spanish 3 teacher wanted me to fail. I'm convinced. To this very second, I am convinced. Because within the first week of classes, he asked us all, what are your goals in learning Spanish? We were all in upper level Spanish classes, so we all had to have goals of some kind. So he asked us, what are your goals? And my goal was to be fluent by the end of my term in high school. So by graduation, I wanted to be fluent. And he stopped me after class, after reading all our submissions, he stopped me and he goes, I like your goal. You know, it's really reasonable. I think you would really accomplish that. Like, you're really good, you're very talented. I can tell that you're hardworking and dedicated. This is week 1, by the way, mind you. I apparently wear my skills on my sleeve, I guess. Sure. But he stops me and he's like, but your problem is that you aren't afraid to get things wrong. Rude, first of all. Wrong, also? Yeah, no? So, for the duration of our Spanish class, my teacher is determined to make me fail. We would be sitting in class, and every so often someone would ask him a question. Hey, Professor McConnell, how do you say this in Spanish? And without missing a beat, every time, my teacher would go, I don't know. Hey, Alyssa, how do you say this in Spanish? I can't tell you how many times I had no idea. And it wouldn't be basic vocabulary words like we were studying in class. Never, ever, ever the vocabulary words. I was good at vocabulary words. It was never the vocabulary words. It was always the random words that you would use in just this one sentence and never think about again. The big word in my class was suddenly. Nobody knew how to say suddenly in Spanish. And every time someone needed to know how to say suddenly, Professor McConnell would turn to me directly. And the first time this happened, I was shocked. I had no idea what to do. I was like the belle of the ball if she had just lost hot potato. Like, it was jarring, and all the attention shifted to me immediately. And I just sat there. I didn't know what to do. I don't even remember the word to this day, but I know I didn't know it. And I told him, I don't know, I don't know. And he says, this one stuck with me. He goes, why don't you guess? Guess a word in a foreign language I do not know? I don't think I can do that. No, I can't. But he's adamant. He goes, yeah, just try it out, try guessing. So I do what any logical person would do, and I try to just Spanishify the English word, because what else would I do in this situation? And he looks at me, after I butchered the Spanish language objectively, he looks at me and he goes, no, that's wrong. Thank you, Professor. I knew that. I didn't know that before going in, that was going to be wrong. Right. He looks at me, he goes, no, that's wrong. And then he gives the actual translation in the actual word, and I was way off. I could not have been more wrong in that moment. And it goes like this for the entire semester. My spring semester, 10th grade year, thank goodness for COVID, it cut me short just in time. But for the first 2 months of my spring semester, 10th grade year, anytime anyone had a question on how to say something in Spanish, my teacher would turn to look at me. And I think this is important to say as a Cinderella story because this was the crucial moment in my life. This was such a major turning point for me, and I learned so much by being put on the hot seats every single time someone had a question. I had my coming of age in that class in front of all of my peers' eyes. And I say that because the moral of my story, the big thing that I took away from this moment is that rejection and ignorance, not knowing something, is inherent in day-to-day life. There's always going to be a question that you don't know the answer to. There's always going to be someone who's going to say no. Someone who's going to look you in the face in a 10th grade level and go, no, you're wrong. There's always going to be that one person. And that class taught me Spanish, yes. But a second, more important thing, the moral of my story, that the very worst thing anyone can say to you is no. But no is nowhere near the worst thing a person can say. Thank you.